Hey Los Blancos fans, welcome back. Today we're talking about confirmed departures, a blockbuster Premier League signing that's finally official, an exciting young midfielder who's desperate to join our beloved club, and promising academy news that shows the future is bright. But before we dive into all the juicy details, make sure you smash that like button and hit subscribe. Let's get straight into it. All right, let's start with the news that was officially confirmed this Friday. Jesus Vallejo has ended his time as a Real Madrid player. Now, this shouldn't come as a shock to anyone who's been following the team closely this season. The 28-year-old Spanish defender has officially left the club after what can only be described as a frustrating final campaign. And when I say frustrating, I mean it. Vallejo managed just one meaningful appearance under Carlo Ancelotti for most of the season. Can you believe that? One appearance. The only other times we saw him on the pitch were in the final 3 fixtures of the term. And let's be honest, those felt more like courtesy appearances than anything else. This departure was basically written on the wall since the beginning of the year. With his contract expiring this summer, there was no indication from either side that a renewal was on the cards. Vallejo, who once showed so much promise when he first arrived at the Bernabeu, just couldn't break into that starting 11 consistently. What's particularly telling about this situation is how it reflects the incredibly high standards at Real Madrid. Here's a player who, on paper, has all the attributes to succeed. He's technically sound, good in the air, and understands the game. But in a squad that demands absolute excellence week in and week out, those brief opportunities he got weren't enough to convince the coaching staff. The timing of this announcement is also strategic. By confirming Vallejo's departure now, the club is sending a clear message that they're making room for new signings and giving opportunities to other players. It's part of that natural squad evolution that successful clubs need to go through. For Vallejo, personally, this is probably the best outcome. At 28, he's still got good years ahead of him. And frankly, he needs to be playing regularly. A fresh start somewhere else where he can be a key player might be exactly what his career needs. Right now. Now let's move on to the news that has everyone talking. And I mean everyone. Trent Alexander-Arnold is officially a Real Madrid player. This transfer has been one of the worst-kept secrets in European football, but now it's finally done and dusted. The England international has joined Los Blancos as what was supposed to be a free agent. But here's where it gets interesting. Real Madrid actually ended up paying Liverpool $10 million to get this deal done ahead of the FIFA Club World Cup. And let me tell you why this detail is absolutely crucial. Initially, Real Madrid were prepared to wait until Alexander-Arnold's contract expired at the end of June. But Xabi Alonso, and yes, we'll talk more about our new manager later, wanted the 26-year-old available for the trip to the United States for the Club World Cup. This urgency completely changed the dynamics of the negotiation. Liverpool, smart as they are, recognized they had leverage here. When Real Madrid came knocking, wanting to accelerate the timeline, the Reds said, "Sure, but it's going to cost you." And boy, did the negotiations get intense. Reports suggest Real Madrid initially offered around $1 million. I mean, come on. That's almost insulting for a player of Alexander-Arnold's caliber. Liverpool wasn't having any of that. The final $10 million fee is actually a steal when you consider that earlier reports suggested Real Madrid were willing to pay up to $40 million back in January. Liverpool and Alexander-Arnold chose to prioritize their Premier League challenge at the time, which, looking back, was probably the right call for both parties. Now, here's a fun detail that shows how different leagues operate. Alexander-Arnold can't keep his iconic number 66 at Real Madrid. La Liga rules only permit squad numbers 1 to 25, so he's going to need a new identity. With Lucas Vázquez keeping the 17 for the Club World Cup and Vallejo vacating the 18, it looks like our new right-back might start his Madrid journey wearing number 18. This signing addresses a crucial need in our squad. While we've had options at right-back, Alexander-Arnold brings something special. His crossing ability, his set-piece delivery, and his experience at the highest level of European football. The fact that he's been synonymous with success at Liverpool, including Champions League and Premier League triumphs, means he knows what it takes to win at this level. Speaking of transfers, let's talk about a player who might be our next big midfield signing, Angelo Stiller. Now, this is where things get really exciting because according to Marca, this guy is absolutely crazy about joining Real Madrid. And I love hearing that kind of passion. The 24-year-old has apparently made his desire to play for Real Madrid crystal clear to the club. The exact quote from Marca was that he is crazy about dressing as a Real Madrid player. That's the kind of mentality we want to see from potential signings. Players who see wearing the white shirt as the pinnacle of their career ambitions. But let's talk about why Real Madrid are interested in Stiller in the first place. The club has been conducting an ongoing search for a player capable of controlling the tempo of fixtures from the middle of the park. Now, we've got incredible midfield options, but the coaching staff clearly sees a specific profile they need, and Stiller apparently fits that perfectly. What makes this potential signing particularly interesting is the timing. With the new management, under Xabi Alonso, there's clearly a fresh perspective on what the team needs tactically. Alonso himself was a master of controlling games from midfield during his playing days, so when he identifies a player like Stiller as being ideal for that role, you have to pay attention. The fact that this interest is mutual is huge for Real Madrid. We've all seen transfers fall apart because players weren't fully committed to the project. But when you have a player who's actively pushing for the move, who's crazy about the opportunity, that's when magic can happen. At 24, Stiller represents exactly the kind of profile Real Madrid should be targeting. Young enough to develop further, experienced enough to contribute immediately, and hungry enough to prove himself at the highest level. If this deal happens, it could be one of those signings that looks even better in hindsight. The challenge now will be the negotiation with his current club and agreeing on a fee that makes sense for all parties. But with the player so eager to make the move, that's often half the battle won right there. Now let's shift our focus to the future of Real Madrid, and I'm talking about our academy prospects. Jesus Forta, an 18-year-old fullback who's being hailed as one of our top prospects, is in talks for a contract renewal, and this story perfectly illustrates the changing philosophy under Xabi Alonso. Here's what makes this particularly significant. Forta is expected to make the jump directly from the youth team to the first team, completely bypassing Castilla. That's almost unheard of in recent years. Under Carlo Ancelotti, promoting young talents was rare because the Italian tactician seldom trusted younger academy stars with first-team responsibilities. But Alonso represents a completely different approach. He's been an open advocate of giving youngsters their chances, and arriving at a club that boasts one of the world's best academies, he's clearly seen a gold mine of talent waiting to be unleashed. The timing of these contract renewal talks couldn't be better. Forta's current deal runs out next summer, and there had been some concerns about his situation in the past. The youngster had been unhappy about his lack of opportunities. And honestly, who could blame him? Talented players want to play. But now, everything has changed. The appointment of Álvaro Arbeloa as Castilla manager and Xabi Alonso as first team manager has created a much more positive environment for youth development. Both understand the pathway from academy to first team because they've lived it themselves. What's really exciting is that Alonso has already earmarked Forta as one of 2 talents he wants to take to the FIFA Club World Cup. That's massive! For an 18-year-old to be considered for such a prestigious tournament shows the level of trust and belief the new management has in him. Forta is described as a capable candidate who can cover both defensive and attacking positions, which is exactly the kind of versatility modern football demands. The fact that Alonso has been a fan of the player for a long time suggests this isn't just a whim. It's a calculated decision based on long-term observation and assessment. Let me put all of this into perspective for you. What we're seeing here is Real Madrid in transition, not just tactically but philosophically. The Vallejo departure represents the end of an era where potential wasn't quite enough. The AlexanderArnold Signing shows the club's willingness to invest strategically for immediate impact while planning for the Club World Cup. The stiller interest reveals a clear tactical evolution under Alonso. The focus on tempo control from midfield suggests we might see a more possession-based approach next season. And the Forta situation? That's perhaps the most telling of all. It signals a fundamental shift toward trusting academy products, which could save the club millions in transfer fees while building a core of players who truly understand what it means to be Madridista. This isn't just squad management, it's cultural transformation. Alonso is building a team that combines immediate success with long-term sustainability, and these four stories perfectly encapsulate that vision. And there you have it, Los Blancos fans. What a week for Real Madrid. We've got confirmed departures making room for new talent, a Premier League star officially joining our ranks for the Club World Cup, a midfielder who's desperate to wear our shirt, and promising academy news that shows the future is incredibly bright. The Vallejo era is over. AlexanderArnold is ready to make his mark, Stiller might be our next midfield maestro, and Forta represents the exciting youth revolution under Xabi Alonso. This is exactly the kind of strategic squad building that keeps Real Madrid at the top of world football. What do you think about these developments? Are you excited about AlexanderArnold's arrival? Do you want to see more academy players like Forta getting their chances? Let me know in the comments below. That's all for today. Please leave your comments below and hit the like button. Thank you for watching.